तो अब हम विधिवत कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करते हैं। शाम के 4 बज गए हैं। प्रोफेसर जीपी दास साहब हमारे मुख्य वक्ता कार्यक्रम में आ चुके हैं। वी वेलकम प्रोफेसर जीपी दास फ्रॉम उड़ीसा एंड वी वेलकम स्वामी भावात्मानंद महाराज, सेक्रेटरी रामकृष्ण मिशन सेवाश्रम मुजफ्फरपुर, श्री हजारी प्रसाद सिंह साहब, श्री डॉक्टर नवीन कुमार झा, सीनियर मेंबर ऑफ विवेकानंद स्टडी सर्किल रामकृष्ण मिशन, श्री लक्ष्मण पात्रा फ्रॉम विक्रम देव यूनिवर्सिटी उड़ीसा, जानकी नंदन शर्मा एंड श्री केशव कुमार LIC मुजफ्फरपुर।
नहीं, आवाज नहीं आ रहा है इसमें।
2 more people have joined.
आवाज हो रहा है।
So let us begin our program. Today's program will be presided over by Professor R.C. Sinha, former chairman ICPR New Delhi, who is presently in Petersburg, USA. From USA he will join, and today's topic is Epistemological angle of the Kenopanisad. कृपया माइक अपना ऑफ कर लें। रेस्ट ऑल पर्सन कृपया अपना माइक ऑफ कर लें, प्लीज ऑब्लाइज अस। सर, आप सब जानते हैं कि ज्ञान मीमांसा ज्ञान के स्वभाव, उद्भव और परिधि के विश्लेषण के साथ साथ विश्वास की तार्किकता, ज्ञान के वैध स्रोतों तथा उनके औचित्यकरण से संतृप्त है। ज्ञान मीमांसा का ध्येय सत्य के स्वरूप को समझकर सत्यता और असत्यता के भेद को स्पष्ट करना होता है। Friends, you all know that today's session is on epistemological angle of Kenopanisad, and all of you know that the theory of knowledge, especially with regard to its method, validity and scope, and the distinction between justified belief and opinion, is known as epistemology of any subject. I request Swami Bhavatmanand Maharaj, Secretary Ramakrishna Mission Sevashrama Muzaffarpur, to welcome Professor G.P. Das, former HOD, Odisha University, and presently Vice President, All Odisha Philosophy Association, Odisha. Swami Bhavatmanand Maharaj will welcome Professor G.P. Das and all participants in this seminar, and Swami Bhavatmanand Maharaj is also requested to introduce the subject to the participants for its smooth delivery and better comprehension of the participants. Swami Bhavatmanand Maharaj, please come on screen.
सत्यम जी, ये पुस्तक उपनिषद वाली पुस्तक दीजिएगा। उपनिषद वाली पुस्तक, उपनिषद वाली पुस्तक। आज के हमारे इस कार्यक्रम में प्रोफेसर जीपी दास जी का मैं हार्दिक स्वागत अभिनंदन करता हूं।
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
प्रोफेसर जीपी दास उत्कल में एक दर्शन शास्त्र के छात्र और प्राध्यापक के रूप में प्रख्यात रहे, विख्यात रहे, और उनके हमारे रामकृष्ण मिशन से जुड़ने से हमारे ज्ञान की परिधि का विस्तार हो जाता है। वो हमारे बीच एक बुजुर्ग विचारक है और उनके विचारों को हम एक अहम स्थान देते हैं अपने सेमिनार में, अपने वेबिनार में। मैं उनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। आज के हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर आर.सी. सिन्हा साहब होंगे। आर.सी. सिन्हा साहब भी कुछ क्षणों में मैं समझता हूं उपस्थित हो जाएंगे। अभी प्रोफेसर आर.सी. सिन्हा यूके में होंगे और अभी उनका 7 बजे का सुबह का समय हुआ होगा, 7 साढ़े 7 बजे। मैं समझता हूँ he will also be available on this platform. I just welcome him. और इसके
आरसी सिन्हा साहब अमेरिका में है, पीटर्सबर्ग में।
अच्छा, सो फाइन, सो फाइन। और इसके साथ साथ हमारे विवेकानंद स्टडी सर्किल के सभी सदस्य जो इस पटल पर दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं, समूह का मैं हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। मैं आशा करता हूं कि आज का विषय जो एक धर्म शास्त्र का विषय है, उसे दर्शन शास्त्र से जोड़ने की चेष्टा की जा रही है। शायद आपको पता होगा, यू माइट बी अवेयर, that this Upanishad we have gone through several times, and many of the professors, many among you have spoken on this Upanishads many a times. It was all interesting, but I further requested Professor G.P. Das to give a new explanation following philosophical pursuits, following philosophical thinking, that is Western thinking. So epistemology has been taken up, and it has to be correlated with Kena Upanishad. You might be knowing that Kena Upanishad is very small Upanishad, and this Upanishad starts with श्लोका केने शितम पतति प्रेषितं मन केन प्राण प्रथम प्रैति युक्त केने शिता वाचमिमां वदन्ति चक्षुश्रोत्र क उ देवो युनक्ति. Here, actually, the disciples goes to the guru, his teacher, and asks his teacher, mind, how is mind brought down to the level of thinking of something which is present before a man. In the same way, he wants to know about how this ear and all the Gyanendriyas act. Who compels or what compels them to be employed in external materials in their own subjects? What is the thing which employ them? And ultimately, the teachers reply that the mind which thinks, ear which hears, mouth which speaks, these are employed by Brahman. But he doesn't say in the first sloka that is employed by Brahman. Ultimately he says, but in the meantime he says, जो कुछ ऐसी शक्ति है जो उसे खींचकर विषयों तक ले जाती है, वह अल्टीमेटली ब्रह्म है. प्रोफेसर साहब, जस्ट हम यह जानना चाहते हैं कि इन श्लोकों को किस प्रकार एपिस्टेमोलॉजी से जोड़ा जा सकता है, ज्ञान मीमांसा से जोड़ा जा सकता है, क्योंकि ज्ञान मीमांसा एक ऐसा विषय है जो हम ज्ञान किस प्रकार पाते हैं, कहाँ से पाते हैं और अपने अंदर की प्रक्रिया की वह व्याख्या करता है, और इस प्रक्रिया की व्याख्या में उसे मनोविज्ञान की भी सहायता लेनी पड़ती है। हम सुनते हैं तो कैसे सुनते हैं, देखते हैं तो कैसे देखते हैं, अल्टीमेटली मैं कैसे जानता हूँ, हाउ वी नो, इस चीज की व्याख्या इसमें आती है। सो आई रिक्वेस्टेड प्रोफेसर दास टू को रिलेट दिस उपनिषद विथ वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी और एपिस्टिमोलॉजी इन पर्टिकुलर। आई अगेन just thank you all to be present here in this August meeting. I hold it a August meeting because we all are here, readers, a good audience. We want to learn, we want to hear, we want to interact with you, and we want to go ahead in our thinking. So thank you, Professor Das. You may
जी
slightly continue.
Professor, Professor,
Yeah.
Professor Kumar Ratnam has raised a hand. May you kindly come on screen quickly so that Ganesh
Thank
Babu.
you. Sir,
I
thank
am
you very
waiting.
much. Just I want to present my presence over there and submit my regard to Professor R.C. Sinha and Professor G.P. Das and the Swamiji. Thank you very much.
thank
Oh,
you.
From whom you are speaking, sir?
thank you, Gopal Ratnamji. I remember you. You were to come here in
Yeah,
Muzaffarpur during a seminar, but you couldn't come
yeah.
here. I remember very well. So
My
today I saw your
and
message also. So
yeah.
many thanks.
ये
You are
आज
here
क्या है,
present here.
एक्चुअली पितृ
Thank you.
दिवस भी है, तो मैं श्रद्धेय आरसी सिन्हा साहब को अपना आध्यात्मिक गुरु मानता हूँ,
बहुत
उनको भी
खुशी
प्रणाम करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
बहुत
Thank you,
खुशी
sir.
की बात। आप सबको बहुत ही
जी
धन्यवाद। प्रोफेसर आर सी
रत्नम
सिन्हा के
साहब
प्रति
को, स्वामी
मैं
जी
अपनी
को मेरा
कृतज्ञता।
प्रणाम।
Professor
मैं
Ashish Sinha
आपके
साहब ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं।
सेवा में
प्रणाम
उपस्थित
सर।
हूँ श्री नारायण जी।
डॉक्टर सिन्हा
जी
नमस्ते।
प्रणाम सर।
यद्यपि कि यहाँ सुबह 6:30 बजे हैं और
जी
ठंड भी
आशीष
है,
साहब पीटर्सबर्ग में है,
लेकिन
कनाडा में।
आई मेड इट अ पॉइंट टू ज्वाइन ऑन टाइम।
हाँ थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू
स्वामी जी को बहुत
प्रोफेसर
बहुत
आर सी
प्रणाम।
सिन्हा साहब। थैंक यू।
रत्नम साहब जुड़े हैं,
हाँ,
दिस इज ए एडेड ग्रेस टू आवर स्टडी सर्किट। He had
तो
been
हमारे
member secretary when I was in ICPR, and now he's holding a high position in Madhya Pradesh government.
Oh,
So his presence is most welcome.
sir.
As a
हाँ
Thank
रत्नम
you, sir.
साहब
Thank you.
धन्यवाद।
So kind of you,
और
Professor Ratnam. So kind of you to be present here. And I have one more request to Professor G.P. Das. Since
जी
he would like to, who would prefer to speak in English, so I would request him to speak slowly so that accent of English, our Bihari English, Bengali English, Odisha English, all are different. So
इंग्लिश
if
में
he
बोलेंगे,
kindly
लेकिन हिंदी
speaks
में भी
slowly,
वो
we shall
हिंदी से
also,
भी अच्छी
yeah,
इंग्लिश होगी।
kindly, Professor Das, you
He
kindly
will,
take help of Hindi also. So
he
please
will
go on
speak
speaking in
in
both the
mixed
language.
language.
Yeah. So
स्वामी जी,
Professor Das,
दास आप
थैंक
मिक्स्ड
यू।
लैंग्वेज में बोलेंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा।
हाँ जी, दास साहब, नमस्ते।
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 थैंक यू। स्वामी भावात्मानंद जी महाराज, coordinator of the study circle, Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha, now in USA, the president of the meeting, Professor S.N.P. Singh, introducer, respected monks and devotees of Ramakrishna Sevashrama, Muzaffarpur, and all other learned audience present there and present online. I have my highest regards for Swamiji for regarding me as one of his near and dear ones. If I remain absent for one Sunday or 2 Sundays, he immediately sends a message on WhatsApp. How are you? Is your health all right? I become a little ashamed that I could not attend the previous meeting. Okay. So year back, Revered Swamiji and Professor Sinha desired me to speak on the Kenopanisad from the ethical angle, and I did that. This time, they desire me to speak on the same Upanishad from the epistemological angle. Its ontological or metaphysical angle has been discussed here twice by other speakers. Months back, Swamiji wanted me to speak on consciousness, and I begged time for this, as this is so vast and not so easy a topic. I shall do a bit of that today, as the present topic would cover a lot on consciousness. Let me recount at the beginning what is known to everybody here, that the Kenopanisad is the enlightened Rishi's response to an enlightenment-seeking student. The seeker in the Kenopanisad perceives certain regularities close to him. It is indeed close and familiar to all persons. The ordinary people pass them over. The seeker, who is of a different make, wanders about and meditates on them. He meets his guru and asks certain by whom Keno questions. The questions appear to be small and simple, but they are big and bold questions of philosophy. The total message of the Kenopanisad in such Guru Shishya Sambad is know that alone as Brahman. The epistemological angle of this Upanishad is how is Brahman known? This is important in view of the principle Manadhina Maya Siddhi. Manadhina Maya Siddhi. The other one, Mayadhina Manasiddhi, holds good of speculative philosophy, but not critical philosophy that Kenopanisad puts forward. Jnanam is not directly mentioned in the text. We have to bring it out of Jnana Phalam, which is mentioned in it. Unless there is Jnanam, there cannot be Jnana Phalam. Can Brahman be known through senses? It is clarified that knowledge of Brahman cannot be established by Pratyaksha Pramana. Pratyaksha is the primary and basic of all empirical methods of knowledge. Although senses cannot contact Brahman and the existence of Brahman cannot be established by Pratyaksha Pramana, it does not mean that Brahman does not exist and that Brahman cannot be known. Acharya Shankara emphatically states that Brahman is to be known only through traditional instruction from the preceptors and not through argumentation, study, intelligence, great learning, austerity, and sacrifices, etc. Brahman, according to the Kenopanisad, is neither known nor unknown. Brahman is neither known nor unknown. The preceptor proclaims, Anyad eva vijitat, that is surely distinct from the known. Athaha aviditat adhi, and again from the unknown it is above. Iti susruma purvesham, thus we have heard from the preceptors. Ye naha tat vyacha chakhire, of the past who taught that to us. That is Kenopanisad 132. This is interpreted as taking reference to faith in the utterance of the preceptor. The preceptor did the same thing when he was taught by his preceptor. He then got it established in direct experience and concluded that faith in the words of the preceptor was justified. The same would be there now if words of the preceptor are accepted on faith. This is, however, not blind faith. The preceptor's own realization gives him the confidence to suggest the same path to his student. You will have to rely on faith. I assure you that you will not be disappointed. ये जो कहते हैं विश्वास में ही ईश्वर प्राप्त होते हैं, तर्क से वो दूर रह जाते हैं. But then there is difficulty with faith as a source of knowledge. People often say like this: I know this through faith. I have faith in it, so it must be true. I believe it through faith, and this faith gives me knowledge, etc. People have faith in different things. The things they claim to know by means of faith sometimes conflict with one another. John Hospers gives an example from Christian religion. There is a claim to know by faith that Jesus was the Son of God, and another claim to know equally by faith that Jesus was but a man and that the true Messiah is still to come. If faith is the only basis for the claim, the same thing that seeks to justify one claim to knowledge justifies another claim just contradictory to it. Both of them cannot be true at the same time. Both the claims might be true, but they cannot be true on the basis of faith. There is also difficulty with the authority as a source of knowledge. They sometimes say like this: I know it to be true because Mr. X says so. Mr. X is an authority on the subject, like this. We accept as true many statements in our daily life, ordinary or professional. Some of them might be falsified by other authorities later on. But relying on authority as a source of knowledge cannot be ruled out. Hospers lays down some precautions to be observed in this regard. Number one, the person whose word we take on authority must really be an authority. Number two, when two authorities differ, we may suspend our assent to both. Number three, whenever we accept someone's statement as authority, it must be possible on our part to establish the same ourselves. But we cannot check such statements as there is no God but Allah and there is no God but Jehovah. These are statements contradictory to one another. If you believe a statement on the authority of Mr. X, then Mr. X cannot know it on the basis of authority. He has to know by some means other than authority that what he claims is true. After it has been conveyed that Atman is verily Brahman, as Swamiji has already clarified, the preceptor explores a unique way of knowing the Atman in 5 verses. 1.4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All these verses harp on a single point, that Brahman is not that which people worship here, na idam yad idam upasate. The Upanishadic Guru leads the student from form to the formless. He does not intend to raise he does not raise any controversy with those who are engaged in karma and upasana on some symbolic form of Brahman or other. He only seeks to point out that there is a difference between the Advaita Vedantic way of sadhana and other ways of sadhana. He does not disturb those who are engaged in other sadhanas, not belittle them. We are reminded of the Bhagavad Gita advising the man of perfect knowledge should not unsettle the foolish ones who are of imperfect knowledge. No bichalayet. 3.29. In other sadhanas, it is the Lord who becomes conscious in the inert stone, metal, or mud idol. In the Advaita sadhana, it is the devotee who becomes fully awakened and gives up the unconscious state to see consciousness in the idol. I repeat, in other sadhanas, non-Advaitic sadhanas, I mean, it is the Lord who becomes conscious in the inert stone. जीवन दान दिया जाता है, नेत्र दान दिया जाता है, जीवन दान दिया जाता है. आज जगन्नाथ महाप्रभु को नेत्र दान दिया जाता है, नेत्रोत्सव है आज. Becomes conscious in the inert stone or inert metal or inert mud idol. But in the Advaita sadhana, it is the devotee who becomes fully awakened and gives up the unconscious state to see consciousness in the idol. Even then, the preceptor knows that there is danger in taking theoretical understanding as the final realization. So, he proceeds to curb the tendency of the student to mistake theory for direct experience. The disciple manyate viditam, I think I do know Brahman. The preceptor says, Jadi manyate shubeda iti dabhrameva api nunam tvam athanu mimansyam ebate. If you think I know that well enough, it is only a little expression that you understand being the expression of Brahman, the little expression of your body, or that seen in the gods. It means that real Brahman had still to be apprehended by you. The seeker is asked to meditate further on what Brahman really is. So he spends some more time in meditation. After that, he proclaims, Naham manyate suveda iti, na veda iti veda cha, ja na tad veda, na veda iti veda cha. I do not think that I know it well enough, nor that I do not know. I know and I do not know. He among us who knows it only as such, nor that I do not know. I know, but I do not know. कुछ उटपटांग लगता है स्टेटमेंट में, लेकिन प्रिसेप्टर क्लैरिफाई करेगा. According to Swami Chinmayananda, the mantra enshrined in this verse is the most beautiful one, not only in the Kenopanisad, but in the whole of Upanishadic literature. What the student proclaims here are the following. Number one, the student has become very humble and honest about his experience. It is very different from anything he has known so far, that is, different from knowledge of objects. Hence, his first reaction is to admit that he does not know it well. Number two, but then to say that belies the experience of the truth. He has to confess that he knows the truth. The only thing he does not know is how to express that experience in words. So he says, I know and I do not know. And let me remind you that this is ahead of the Western philosopher Socrates, whose declaration is that he knows that he does not know. Socrates says that he knows that he does not know, but the Upanishadic Shishya says that he knows and he does not know. Then number three, it is clear from this line that the student has discussed his experience with the fellow students and obtained a consensus on what he would report to the preceptor. They all agree that their experience too is the same as his. Then number 4, the repetition of line 2 is to indicate the same experience of all the other students. Now, the preceptor himself confirms the same attitude expressed by the student in the following verse. Jasya amatam tasya matam matam jasya na veda saha abhigyatam vijanatam vigyatam abhijanatam. He understands it who feels he knows it not, and he understands it not who feels he knows it. It is unknown to the master scholar, but known to the one who admits he does not know. Now, apart from the epistemological question as to how does one know Brahman or Atman, there is a subsidiary epistemological question: how do we know that one knows Brahman? How do we know that one knows Brahman? The mantra couched in 2.4 holds an answer to this. One who knows Brahman would possess the following inner qualities, although his exterior would be unlike the exterior of anyone who does not have such knowledge. Number 1, seeing the self in all thoughts. Number 2, inner atmic strength. Number 3, divine knowledge. And number 4, immortality. प्रतिबोध विदितं मतं अमृतत्वं हि बिन्दते आत्मनः बिन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया बिन्दते अमृतम्. He who intuits it in every modification of the mind, indeed he attains immortality. Through the Atman he obtains real strength, and through knowledge he attains immortality. We may clarify here that immortality, what immortality is. Immortality does not mean living for eternity. That would be an undesirable immortality. No one would want that. Immortality comes from one's own self. It is not created or gained. Thus, immortality is not a continuity in worldly existence. It is being established in Brahmic consciousness. When we drop the world, we become immortal. When we drop the world, we become immortal. Pritya asmat lokat amrita bhavanti. Rise above the world of sensual life and become immortal. This is Kenopanisad 2.5. The world in which we live, move, and have our being has 5 features. Number 1, Drishyatvam. It is an object of experience. O. Then Bhautikatvam. The world is made up of matter. It is material. M. Sagunatvam. The world has got varieties of attributes perceptible to the sense organs. It is endowed with Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha as attributes. This is A. Sabikaratvam. It is subject to change. World is continuously changing at the macro level and at the micro level also. This is C. Then Agamipaitam, the world is temporary. This is T. So O, M, A, C, T. Omak. It is Omak as Swami Paramananda Paramarthanandaji abbreviates it. Mantra 2 is very important. It has been discussed twice in the study circle, and it has been recited by Swamiji today also. As this constitutes the very cornerstone of the Kenopanisad, it is necessary to bring it into focus here again for the present discussion. Shrotasya Shrotram, Manasaha Manajad, Bachaha Bacham, Sau, Pranasya Pranaha, Shaktisaha Shaktihu, Atimutya Dhiraha, Pritya Asmatlokan, Amritam Bhavanti. It is ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, it is the tongue of the tongue, and also the life of life. It is the eye of the eye, the brave and wise, having transcended I-ness, rise above the world of sensual life and become immortal. This mantra contains three things in one. Three things. Number one, Atma Swarupam, what is the essential feature of self? It is ontology. Atma Jnanam, how is self known? It is epistemology. And Atma Jnana Phalam, what is the fallout of self knowledge? It is axiology. The principle which enlivens the body cannot be material principle, because the material principle will have a makt, which I have discussed just now. Therefore, that also will be achetanam, inert. One achetanam principle cannot make another achetanam into chetanam. Therefore, it should be non-material. And it is a non-material principle. It must have features which are diagonally opposite to those of the material principle. Therefore, the Deva in question must have 5 features which will be opposite to the 5 omakt. It is not omakt. So if Achetanam is omakt, then the Chetanam is non-omakt. The whole world, consisting of body, sense organs, and mind, is inert and an object of experience. Body appears to be sentient, sense organs appear to be sentient, and mind appears to be sentient. They are not naturally sentient, they have borrowed sentience. Borrowed by whom? By Chetanam. Chetanam and Achetanam are different categories. Now, Gilbert Ryle, an analytic philosopher of the Western philosophy, Gilbert Ryle says that the concept of mind in a body is like a ghost in a machine. He alleges that there is a category mistake in the very description of mind and its nature and activities in the idiom in which nature and function of body are described, although in the counterparts of the said idiom. He says a person's thinking, feeling, and purposive doing cannot be described solely in the idioms of physics, chemistry, and physiology. Therefore, they must be described in counterpart idioms. What is it? It is the conscious principle, Atma. This is different from the body-mind complex. It is not an object. It is I, myself. What is Deva, the divine principle? The divine principle is the conscious principle, which is I. This is aware of the body, aware of the sense organ, and aware of the mind. Once this definition is there, the seeker can connect it with the 5 features of consciousness that have been given before. Number one, consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the body. Number two, consciousness is an independent principle which pervades and enlivens the body. Number three, consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of the body. Number four, consciousness survives even after the fall of the body. Number five, the surviving pure consciousness is not accessible to anyone. That consciousness, which is non-material and which is not an object and which is I, is the Atma. The preceptor is struggling to convey this much, Sa eva Atma, and the student has to claim, I am the Atma, which is the non-material, unobjectifiable conscious principle. It is Dhira who only can say, I am the conscious principle. And this is going beyond Descartes. Descartes claims, I am a thing that thinks. The French philosopher René Descartes of the West, he says that I am a thing that thinks. Cogito ergo sum. What meditation is, Descartes does not say in so many words, but the Kenopanisad says only by implication that in order to earn the qualification of Dhiraha, the student has to practice Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, laid down clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. It may be noted here that some translate Dhiraha as brave and wise. Swami Chinmanandaji does it. Whereas some others translate it differently. The Dhiraha is one who wisely scorns, leaves aside all temptations of this world and surrenders to the Lord. Dhiraha means sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari, not courageous and strong as the lexicography has it. Swami Paramarthanandaji says it. These are features of consciousness. What is the proof, pramana, that it exists? We have just laid down the features of consciousness, 5 features. But what is the proof that it exists? This is an epistemological issue. There is a divine principle that enlivens the body. All right. But what is the mode by which this divine principle can be identified? There is the principle of philosophical logic. Lakshana pramananabhyam vastu siddhihi. Where is the Atma? The Kenopanisad says that Atma is of the size of the thumb. Angushtamatra Purusho Madhya Atmani Tishtati. The Purusha of the size of the thumb dwells in the body. All the words we have coined are based on our experience of the world. When we experience a new object for the sake of transaction, what do? We invent a new word. All the words are based on worldly experiences. Experiencing is objectification. Experiencing is objectification. Consciousness is not an object. It is neither an external object nor an internal object. Consciousness is me. It is me. Understanding is objectification. The seeker is inclined to understand consciousness in this way, but the preceptor tries to make him understand consciousness without objectification. When the conscious principle is said to be stotrasya stotram, for example, 3 things are conveyed by the preceptor. Number 1, it is the ear of the ear. That is, it is not the physical ear or the power of hearing. It is in and through the ear, and it makes the ear a hearing instrument. Number 3, it pervades the ear and makes the ear ear. It makes the ear ear. Are you there? I think, therefore I am. Descartes says. No, I am there, therefore I think, says the Upanishad. Descartes says, the Western philosopher says, I think, therefore I am. But the Upanishad says, I am there, therefore I think. Thus, it is the self-evident consciousness principle which does not require an instrument to reveal itself. That self-evident consciousness, I am Deva. Cartesian meditation is mind deep. Upanishadic meditation is a trance mind. Atma is aprameya, monobacham agochara. Aparushaya Shastra Pramanam is fit here. It is a unique pramana which will reveal consciousness without making it a prameyam. It is a pramana, but there is no prameya. Aparushaya Sabda Pramanam, that does not have any prameya. The experiencer alone can never be experienced as an object. In Tattvabodha, Several examples are given. Number one, with the tip of the finger, you can touch everything except the tip of the finger itself. Number two, with the right hand, you can wash all over the body except the right hand. Therefore, what is the rule? The subject is never subject to objectification. The subject is never subject to objectification. Subject is never subject to objectification. The experiencer can never be experienced. The seer can never be seen. And therefore, the divine principle exists only in one form, as I, the experiencer or knower. Therefore, knowing the divine principle is possible only in one way. What is that? Claiming that I am the divine principle without trying to objectify. Knowing is not by seeing, not even by experiencing. What is that then? Claiming is knowing. Claiming is knowing. While claiming, the seeker has to remember, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the sense organ, but I am the consciousness principle. Consciousness is not a property of the body, that it is a space-like principle. I cannot say space-like thing, then it will become a inert object. I cannot say being, then it becomes body. If I say principle, that is also a problem. People will think that it is like Archimedes principle. But some word we have to use. If I say entity, some student will ask a question, can you call it an entity? Something we have to say. We draw a word from ordinary language and assign it a different but a related sense with the clarification of its new employment. I am concluding, Atmavit Atmeva Bhavati and Tarati Shokam Atmavit. Om Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Dhanyavad. Namaste. Pranam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ganesh Babu. You have delivered a very good lecture, which was prepared rightly, and it has its efficacy on our audience, on our participants, very efficiently. Now, this session is open for interaction, क्योंकि हमारे कार्यक्रम में हिंदी भाषी लोगों की संख्या अधिक है और उनकी समझ और उनकी समझदारी का प्रकटीकरण हिंदी माध्यम से अधिक हो सकता है, इसलिए लैंग्वेज इज नो बैरियर। जिनको अंग्रेजी में पूछना है वो अंग्रेजी में भी बात कर सकते हैं और जिनको हिंदी में पूछना हो वो हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं। डॉक्टर नूतन फ्रॉम टीपीएस कॉलेज पटना हैज ज्वाइंड आवर प्रोग्राम। श्री विजय कुमार प्रसाद सिंह साहब has joined our program from Delhi. He is a senior member of Vivekananda Study Circle, but he has gone to Delhi, and from there he is joining. All of you know that Professor Rameshwar Sinha, our honorable president of this session, is already in USA, in Petersburg. और वहाँ की ठंडक को हमारे बिहार की गर्मी से वो मेल करा रहे हैं और इस तरह से हमारा यह वेबिनार अभी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर का हो रहा है। और अरुणेंद्र कुमार जी ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, आदरणीय अमरेंद्र ठाकुर भी ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, आयन सरकार, राम मोहन जी, कुमारी क्रांति, प्रोफेसर राजेश कुमार सिंह पटना, अरुणेंद्र राय और सीमा सरकार सब हमारे कार्यक्रम में ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं। आप सबों का स्वागत है और आप सबों से निवेदन है कि whosoever has some inquiry from Professor J.P. Das can raise his hand or give a sticker of hand. Arunendra has given a sticker of hand. I invite Arunendra Kumar to come on the screen and present his view. Arunendra ji, please.
Thank you, sir. My question is to Ganesh sir, and it's based on the very first definition of Dvait and Advait he gave. And in the last statement of closing statement, he mentioned claiming is knowing. So it's mentioned that the very moment you claim you know the Brahma, at that very moment you don't know it. So, and in the perceptor to perceptor transfer of faith or belief, that I don't remember that exact sloka, but it was the first sloka he spoke. So, in that one, if that is being passed and you don't know it, because you also mentioned ki you are something ki you can't say it or put it in words or you won't be able to tell it. So in Dvaita and Advaita, in Advaita, it's easy to say ki okay, when I claim I don't know it. But with the Lord Jagannath example you gave, how you are going to translate ki you know don't know it when you claim it? So that's my question. Ki how you are going to define it in the dualistic way with the Jagannath ka example.
Thank you very much. The first claim I know, the first claim of the student that I know, and the last claim that I know, there is a sea of difference between the two. It is a transformation from form to formless. It's a transformation from Dvait to Advait. And the claim which he makes at the end, and that is after due tapasya, meditation, karma yoga, upasana yoga, all these things are prescribed. So he is always a transformed individual, transformed being. And when he claims that I am Atman, Atmavit Atmeva Bhavati, as Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati, Atmavit Atmeva Bhavati. He has spawned, left out all the worldly attachments, all the worldly tags. So it's a different claim altogether. It's a qualified claim.
Thank you.
To begin with, it was an unqualified claim. Thank you.
But how it translates to the dualistic view, sir? That was the question.
Thank you, sir.
As a preceptor,
Sir,
one has to
thank you.
undergo the meditation.
Sir, another question is in pipeline. Dr. Nutan from Patna. She has raised hand. Dr. Nutan, you are welcome. And please interact with the main speaker.
Thanks a lot, Singh sir, for giving me the opportunity to have a query, to raise my query before Das sir. So, truly speaking, I switched off my camera because you had been summing up the contrarieties and contradictory words means together. And actually, what I used to do, I used to listen each and every word and each sentence with gesticulation. That's why I switch off my camera. So I want to know at this context, means in present context, how can we develop our consciousness? Because it is not non-material or immaterial, you had said. Just let me know so that doing meditation and we can become a conscious person. So consciousness is not, as per you, is not to be taken together as a physical body or something like that. So kindly just give light on it so that I could understand.
Madam ji, this is the theoretical framework which is prepared by the Upanishads. To actually do the practice, one has to accept a guru and do all sorts of meditations. And it is not the task of this speaker here to say how you would do that and how you would become in a position to claim that I am Atman. That is left to the practicals. It's a conceptual explanation that I did here.
Right. So can't it be practical?
You have to, yes.
Guru?
When I have indicated about karma yoga, upasana yoga, all these things. These are the preliminary. These are the elementary tasks that one has to do before going to study in PG classes. One has to do the high school tasks. Na? Those things have to be done with. But if somehow you have some deposits from the previous birth, you can directly go up to the PG classes. But ordinarily for the PG classes you have to prepare for it from the lower classes.
Thank you, sir. Pragya Das Kanungo. Pragya Das Kanungo Sahab has joined, and he has some queries from Professor G.P. Das Sahab. Pragya Das Kanungo, if
Yes,
you are
sir. Yes,
listening,
sir. Yes, sir.
please come.
Sir, yes, sir. Namaskar to all.
Namaskar.
I'm very glad to be a part of this webinar. I just wanted to ask our esteemed speaker. Actually, I didn't have any question when I'm asked. I'm framing the question I'm asking. I just want to know whenever there is a discussion on Brahman, we end up saying that yes, Brahmavid Brahmeva Bhavati, or in order to know Brahman, we have to become Brahman. I just wanted to know, my perspective is different. It's a practical perspective. I just wanted to know what kind of feeling is that? How does one realize that he has realized Brahman?
Madam Kanungo, can you tell us from which place you are speaking?
Yes, I'm from
Please.
Bhubaneswar.
You are from
Odisha.
Bhubaneswar. Which university?
Yes.
Introduction in two
Sir,
sentences.
there is a college. There is a college which is affiliated to Utkal University.
Thank
The
you.
college is, yes.
Thank you. Please, Ganesh Babu, please come.
Now, how to speak about the feeling? Feeling is a feeling. When feelings are expressed in language, that becomes something different. It's a very
Can't it
difficult
be
question.
communicated? Can't it be communicated? Yes. I
It
know
has to be
that I know
communicated,
Brahman.
but when it is communicated, then duality comes in. So from duality, you have to rise up to non-duality, and that is through language. In and through language, you have to go beyond language. That is it. You have to use categories, you have to use idioms that everybody uses. But as I said, that you have to pick up words from the original language and to express your feelings, but then clarify that it is not this, it is not that, it is not that. You have to clarify it in 1001 words what it is. So you
Thank you,
cannot
sir.
say definitely,
Thank you,
positively,
sir.
that it is thus and so.
Professor Kumar Ratnam has joined. Professor Kumar
Thank you, sir.
Ratnam, thank you, madam. Professor Kumar Ratnam has joined, and we request on behalf of Ramakrishna Mission Sevashrama Muzaffarpur to him to come on the screen and have some interaction with Professor J.P. Das. Professor Kumar Ratnam.
Sir, thank you very much to calling me.
जी
I'm just to listen Professor G.P. Das, who has been member of our council. He is a learned scholar. He has pointed out everything in a very clear manner. And I
Thank you.
feel so thankful to the Swamiji. And particularly, I am very happy to see Professor R.C. Sinha Sahab here in the morning.
जी
Since morning, I rang up so many times. I don't know that he's in US. So that's why I'm very happy, and I have no query into my mind. And I think everything is very, very, very clear and the very particular manner it discussed the through, discuss the issues. And I'm much thankful to the Swamiji and Sir you for giving me an opportunity to say something. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Nice
sir.
of you, Kumar Ratnamji. Nice of you.
Kumari Kranti, please come on screen for interaction. Please give a brief about your biodata. Kumari Kranti, if you are listening me, please come on
you can
screen.
introduce in two sentences. Kranti.
2 sentences. And question in bullet style with no explanation.
That is
Kumari Kranti, I think she is not audible. So I now request Professor Ramesh Chandra Sinha Sahab to ask few people to come on the screen for interaction. मैं समझता हूँ कि आदरणीय रमेश बाबू
I am
बहुत
very
लोग को
much
जानते हैं.
with you. I am very much with you. अभी और क्वेश्चन कुछ आना हो तो
आ जाए.
या रिफ्लेक्शंस अगर हो तो मांग लीजिए.
जी.
Sir,
स्वामी भावात्मानंद महाराज.
just a minute. I have
Yes.
one or two
स्वामी भावात्मानंद महाराज, please.
questions. Professor G.P. Das has very nicely explained the subject. and the scripture as well. And as Professor Ratnam said, it is quite clear, and so uh, uh, explanation is in itself so clear, so clean, that there is no question. We cannot raise any question in it. But two things I have to speak here. Professor said, I know that I do not know. This one sentence, it is related to Socrates. Socrates कहते हैं मैं I know that I do not know. ये है तो यह भी एक प्रकार का ज्ञान है. This is also a sort of knowledge, but this knowledge must be different from objective knowledge.
Sure.
जिसमें कि प्रोफेसर साहब ने बतलाया कि knowledge is experience is objectification. So this is very clear statement. Experience is objectification. तो यहाँ पर सर, suppose I close my eyes and sit in meditation, and I try to think my own self, and I think what I think. So there becomes two part. There becomes a part of the mind, a mind which is a thinker, and another mind which is thought, which is object. I mean to say, when I sit to think my mind, then I conceive some ideas have passed in my mind. So those ideas are objects, and the thinker, which must be higher than the object. So these two entities are found there, subject and object. So can we go on dividing this mind this way? Suppose today I think that I am thinking this, then again I proceed about the thinker mind itself. I try to think the thinker mind itself. So is it possible to think the thinker mind itself? Suppose, sir, there is self-introspection, a word, self-introspection, आत्मनिरीक्षण. यदि मैं अपने आत्मा पर, यदि मैं अपने आप का निरीक्षण नहीं कर सकता हूँ, तो आत्मनिरीक्षण शब्द अपने आप में गलत प्रमाणित हो जाता है. मेरे अनुसार आत्मनिरीक्षण शब्द ये गलत नहीं होना चाहिए, यह शब्द सही है. और I can think of the thinker. So, sir, इस विषय थोड़ा सा आप सब कुछ बताएं.
मैंने here actually we have mind in two parts, the thinking mind and the mind which is thought about.
Yeah.
The mind which is thought about is again is an object.
Yeah.
So when we seek to harp on the objectless mind, we have to discount with the former and give emphasis on the latter one. One is transcending mind, the other is the empirical mind. The empirical mind has to go. We have to spurn all empiricalities, including the mind that is thought about, that is empirically go.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
In this, by discounting all the empiricalities, whenever we engage in ordinary thinking, dualities come up. Duality is bound to be there. Even if we are doing Atmanirikshan, then the Atma which we are screening, the Atma which we are thinking about, discussing about, becomes the object again. So that object has to go.
Yeah.
So it is the pure thinking mind, it is the pure thought that is emphasized, underlined.
So sir, so here is one thing. So, sir, I can go on dividing the mind till I reach a stage of the mind which cannot be
Sure,
thought
sure.
over. So this is what
Yes,
in the
yes,
Upanishad
yes.
says,
That
neti
is
neti, neti neti.
that is it.
Sir, thank you very
That
much.
is it.
Sir, other questions,
Thank you.
if
Thank
anyone can raise? नवीन जी, आप कुछ प्रश्न कर सकते हैं थिंकर माइंड के विषय में, और सर ने बहुत ही अच्छी अच्छी बातें बतलाई। इसमें उन्होंने जॉन हॉस्पर्स का उदाहरण दिया, एज टू अथॉरिटी, एज टू स्पीकर हु क्लेम्स दैट आई नो द ट्रूथ, उसके बारे में उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया। सोक्रेटिस का उदाहरण दिया, गिलबर्ट आइल्स का उदाहरण दिया, और डेकार्ट्स का उदाहरण दिया। तो पूरे विषय को उन्होंने ज्ञान मीमांसा में बांधने की बहुत ही सफल चेष्टा की है। इसके लिए मैं सर को बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। सर,
Thank you. Thank you.
इसे आगे बढ़ाया जाए यदि और कोई कुछ बोलना चाहते हो।
Pranam Swami ji, may I ask a question to Das sir?
Yes.
Yes, बोलिए।
पूछिए।
Pranam one and all. Sir, I have a question. Sir, for salvation it is said that to elevate soul, mind is the greatest distractor.
Now, what is it?
Mind is the greatest distractor.
Distractor.
Yes, sir, because when we want to get salvation through means elevating our soul, it is the mind which creates so many questions, queries, and it wants to move towards attachment, and it's a great barrier in detachment. So kindly throw light on it so that I could
No.
get some.
What do you mean by salvation? I mean by salvation the end of all entanglements in my conceptual framework. In thinking of the world, I think through concepts, and there are conceptual entanglements, and to be free from those entanglements is salvation, as I understand it in that way. Not Sajuja Mukti, Salukya Mukti, etc. etc. I did not take it like that.
So salvation may be taken as a reunion to God.
I did not take it in that sense. To be one with God, I did not take it in that sense. To realize Atman, that is salvation. That is mukti, rather.
Okay, thank you.
और डॉक्टर नूतन, आपने यह बतलाया कि माइंड को आप ग्रेट डिस्ट्रैक्शन कहते हैं, एक समस्या कह रही है, किंतु यह माइंड ही है which takes us beyond mind itself, क्योंकि यह संसार ही है जिस संसार में रह करके हम संसार से पार जाना चाहते हैं। तो उसको उस सेंस में नहीं लेकर के माइंड का प्यूरिफिकेशन, जिसको वेद में उपनिषद में कहा गया है, इसको शटल से शटल बनाते जाना, यह उसका अर्थ हो सकता है। और यही प्रोफेसर साहब
Beyond mind, in and through mind.
Yeah.
Swamiji, beyond mind and in and through the mind.
Yeah, sir. Quite right, sir. Quite right. Beyond mind, in and through. Yes.
My question is to Ganesh sir. While mentioning about Brahma, he also gave example of, and talking on consciousness, he gave example of Jesus. And when we talk about Western philosophers, so the Brahman or truth close to them might be only found in religion, and since mostly are Catholic or Christians, so they are going to find Jesus on. But the thing is, when we talk about consciousness, then in our karma philosophy, whatever we do, we get. But there is a concept of confession. You go and confess and you get rid of that sin. Here it's also ki go and bathe in Ganga. But how do you see it from that point of view of like Socrates or any Western philosopher who is trying to define the Brahma itself, given ki their religion itself gives them this scope? How that burden is taken on the consciousness, and that
It is very clear. I can remind you only one statement: No idam jad idam upasate. That is not Brahman. What you are telling is all about that which is upasate, but Brahman is that which is not worshipped.
Right.
so that they must be different then these two entities must be different, sir. Is that
Sure,
correct
sure,
understanding?
Yes.
What Jesus is as a Brahman or what the Brahman is being defined in different religions?
No, it is not the religion that we are discussing here. In religion, God is the supreme, and you know that in Vedanta, it is Mayopadhika Ishvara. Ishvara is born out of Maya, illusion. But we are going beyond illusion. We are going beyond illusion. Might be we are taking the help of illusion to go beyond illusion.
हाँ सर, आपने ठीक कहा सर। वो कठोपनिषद में भी नचिकेता इसी प्रकार का प्रश्न यमराज से करता है कि मुझे वह तत्व बतलाएं जो धर्म और अधर्म से परे है। कठोपनिषद तो वैदिक उपनिषदिक ज्ञान तो इसी प्रकार का है, ऊंचा ज्ञान। सर इसे आगे बढ़ाया जाए। हाँ, प्रोफेसर साहब इसे कृपया आगे बढ़ाएं। धन्यवाद।
और कोई हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट अगर अपने विचार को लेकर प्रोफेसर जीपी दास साहब ने जितनी बातें कही है उसके अतिरिक्त इस विषय पर कोई और नई बात अगर किन्हीं पार्टिसिपेंट के मन में हो तो आप आमंत्रित हैं। प्रोफेसर अमरेंद्र ठाकुर फॉर्मर एचओडी एंड प्रिंसिपल बिहार यूनिवर्सिटी हमारे कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं आपसे निवेदन करता हूं कि अगर आप अभी हों और हमें और इस कार्यक्रम की प्रोसीडिंग्स को सुन रहे हों तो कृपया आज के विषय के संबंधित कोई जिज्ञासा या कोई नई बात हो तो संक्षेप में उसको लेकर आने की कृपा करेंगे। प्रोफेसर अमरेंद्र ठाकुर। अमरेंद्र ठाकुर जी नहीं आ पा रहे हैं। प्रोफेसर राजेश कुमार सिंह साहब, एचओडी फिलोसफी पटना विश्वविद्यालय कार्यक्रम में अगर राजेश बाबू सुन रहे हो तो कृपया स्क्रीन पर आने की कृपा करेंगे। आदरणीय रमेश बाबू और स्वामी जी और आदरणीय गणेश बाबू would feel privileged if Professor R.K. Singh comes for some appreciation or some negotiation or some presentation. Professor Rajesh Kumar Singh साहब, लगता है राजेश बाबू भी नहीं हम लोग को सुन पा रहे हैं। तुम्हारी क्रांति कहाँ से लाइन की है हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तुम्हारी क्रांति अगर आप सुन रही हो तो कृपया अपना परिचय दें संक्षेप में और हम लोग फिर वार्ता को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। तुम्हारी क्रांति नहीं। नीरज कुमार जी कार्यक्रम में पहली बार जुड़े हैं। नीरज कुमार जी, please come on the screen and introduce yourself, please, briefly.
Just introduce and raise question.
Our Honorable President, Professor R.K. Sinha, has requested all the participants to come on the screen, give a brief introduction about yourself and then raise question. Neeraj Kumar is also not audible. तो मैं अब स्वामी भावात्मा महाराज से निवेदन करता हूँ कि इसे आगे बढ़ने की बात करें।
सर मैं प्रोफेसर रमेश चंद्र सिन्हा साहब से विशेष अनुरोध करता हूँ कि सर अपने अध्यक्षीय भाषण और अपने मंतव्य को उसके साथ ही रखें सर। और इसमें
स्वामी जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
सर जीपी दास साहब आज अपने माइक बंद करें सभी। प्रोफेसर क्रांति माइक ऑफ।
जी प्रणाम।
माइक ऑफ कीजिए, माइक ऑफ कीजिए क्रांति जी।
आवाज ठीक जा रही है?
क्रांति जी अपना परिचय दें।
कुछ गड़बड़ा रहा।
ठीक है।
दो डिवाइस खुली हुई है मैडम की, 2 डिवाइस खुली है एट ए टाइम।
साउंड नहीं ये क्लियर हो रहा है।
बोलिए।
अभी ठीक है प्रोफेसर साहब, अभी आवाज जा रही है, स्पष्ट है आवाज।
आ रही है।
तो क्रांति जी आप कुछ बोलेंगे कृपया? क्रांति जी, विल यू लाइक टू स्पीक समथिंग? कुमारी क्रांति, आप कुछ बोलेंगी?
सबों को मेरा प्रणाम। मैं एक हाउसवाइफ हूँ और पटना विश्वविद्यालय से 90 में मैंने एमए किया था। तो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जाने के कारण सभी चीजें मेरी छूट गई।
अच्छा।
और मैं अपने नए सिरे से आप सबों को सुन करके अपने ज्ञान का अर्जन कर रही हूँ।
तो ये बहुत खुशी की बात है, आप जुड़ी हैं, इसके लिए
और
आपको बहुत बहुत
चाहूंगी कि
धन्यवाद कि आप जुड़े हुए रहेंगी। और क्रमशः अगले अगले दिनों के वेबिनार में आप जुड़ी हुई रहेंगी और आप अपनी प्रतिभागिता भी, मैं भी कुछ बोलती रहेंगी। प्रोफेसर रमेश चंद्र सिन्हा साहब से विशेष अनुरोध है कि अपने मंतव्य के साथ आए। और सर एक बात और सर, जस्ट मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था कि experiencing is objectification. So, sir, can we go on objectifying the thinker or mind itself? Can we go on objectifying my mind? Go on for long. Is it possible for a man to go on objectifying his own mind? सर इस पर भी थोड़ी सी चर्चा करते हुए सर अपने मंतव्य दें। प्रणाम
जी। सबसे पहले मैं स्वामी जी को अपना प्रणाम निवेदित करना चाहूँगा और आरंभ में ही प्रोफेसर जीपी दास जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई और विशेषकर विवेकानंद स्टडी सर्किल में उनकी सहभागिता और वंडरफुल पार्टिसिपेशन। वंडरफुल इन द सेंस कि दो he expresses very fluently in English and he understands Hindi too। और हिंदी में भी अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं तो हिंदी से भी अच्छी अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं दास साहब। और मेरा सौभाग्य रहा है कि मैं उनके यहाँ गया हूँ और मेरे साथ उन्होंने बहुत दिन तक काम किया है ICPR में। और सबसे सुखद बात है कि मैं अपनी बात बताऊं इसके पहले कि कुमार रत्नम जी इस विवेकानंद स्टडी सर्किल में आए तो हम समझते हैं कि ये स्टडी सर्किल की विशेषता है कि दूर दूर से लोग जुड़ रहे हैं। कुमार रत्नम ICPR के बहुत ही एफिशिएंट मेंबर सेक्रेटरी थे एंड ही हैड ए वेरी पॉजिटिव पर्सनालिटी और कोई ईगो नहीं रहता है क्योंकि ही इज़ आल्सो वेरी सीनियर एडवाइजर टू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट। बट ही इज़ a very lovable man to me. So I, on behalf of the circle, Swamiji has already welcomed, and I do welcome him. और क्रांति जी आई तो बड़ा अच्छा लगा। धन्यवाद देने के क्रम में तो इन लोगों को श्री नारायण जी, प्रोफेसर श्री नारायण जी के उपस्थिति में तो बहुत कुछ एक एक आदमी के बारे में एक एक डिटेल उनके पास रहता है। और हम भी अभी पिट्सबर्ग में हैं तो और भले कोई जाने या न जाने, लेकिन मान्यवर श्री नारायण जी को पता है यहाँ ठंडक में बिल्कुल इनके आदेश के अनुसार 4 बजे वहाँ, यहाँ 6:30 बजे तो हमारी बेटी ने हमको उठा दिया। कहा कि हमने कहा था कि 6 बजे हमको रामकृष्ण आश्रम के कार्यक्रम में जुड़ना है, तो उसने मेरे को उठा के उस रिमाइंड किया। तो नेचुरली शी इज़ ए मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल बट दे आर वेरी मच इंक्लाइंड। अब वो एक परिवार का संस्कार है, तो बहुत सारी, हम तो किताब लेकर नहीं आए, लेकिन बहुत सारी फिलॉसफी का, कठोपनिषद, बहुत सारे चिन्मय मिशन की किताबें यहाँ हैं, तो पढ़ने के लिए पढ़ सकते हैं। और अब मैं विषय पर आऊँ। मान्यवर दास साहब, निश्चित ही जो हमारा ऑडियंस है यहाँ, तो उसमें हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों अच्छी अंग्रेजी भी बोलते हैं लोग, लेकिन चॉइस हिंदी की है। जैसे हम यहाँ रहने के बाद इस महसूस हमने किया कि मातृभाषा अपनी हिंदी है, लेकिन अंग्रेजी को हम नज़रअंदाज नहीं कर सकते। तो अंग्रेजी में अगर कोई एड्रेस होता है तो उसको हम लोग वेलकम करते हैं। और स्वामी जी भी बड़े उदार चित्त के हैं, बहुत उदार, इतने उदार कम लोग से मुलाकात हुई हमारी। ही वेलकम्स philosophizing is above linguistic limitations. ये दास साहब ने भी कहा, और स्वामी जी तो इस बात को मानते भी हैं कि philosophizing is not bound with the language. वो थॉट जो है, सो इट इज अ प्रोसेस ऑफ थिंकिंग। philosophizing is a process of thinking. Naturally, philosophizing is a conceptualizing, and concepts are clothed in language. भाषा के परिधान में प्रत्यय आते हैं, अक्सर मैं कहता रहा हूँ। तो इस अर्थ में we go beyond the linguistic limitations. कुछ जैसे दो तीन बहुत प्रोमिनेंट क्वेश्चंस आए हैं। एक तो प्रोफेसर दास साहब ने ऑथोरिटी एज ए सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज, ऐसा उन्होंने अभिव्यक्त किया। और स्वामी जी ने भी इस बात की चर्चा की कि और ये भी प्रश्न आया कि if two authorities differ, who will judge? अथॉरिटी, मान लीजिए कि हम स्क्रिप्चर को अथॉरिटी मानते हैं, तो वेद और बाइबल में अगर अथॉरिटी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट करता है या डिफर करता है, दास साहब जी ने इस पर थोड़ा प्रकाश डाला। इफ द authorities differ, the scriptures differ, जैसे कुरान, वेद, उपनिषद, बाइबल, ये अथॉरिटीज हैं हम लोग के लिए। तो अथॉरिटीज इफ दे डिफर, हाउ वी कैन जज, हाउ वी कैन कम ऑन द कंक्लूजन? ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न आता है। अब मान लीजिए कि रामानुजाचार्य is one authority and Shankaracharya is another authority. Shankaracharya says that Brahma is Nirgun and Ramanujacharya that Brahma is Sagun. So how a common man can decide? Because the authorities differ. Bible says that there is a resurrection, and Ved Upanishad says that, or Shankaracharya says that there is a rebirth. तो हम उसी रिसरेक्शन का अर्थ हुआ कि हम जिस बॉडी में हैं उसी बॉडी में फिर पैदा हो जाएंगे। और वेद उपनिषद और हिंदुइज्म से दैट कि हमारा रीबर्थ होता है, रिसरेक्शन नहीं होता है, हम उसी बॉडी में फिर जग जाएंगे। ये स्वामी जी ने भी पॉइंट आउट किया कि अथॉरिटी पर बहुत बढ़िया से आरंभ ही आपने किया कि authority is the source of knowledge. If two authorities differ, then how we can decide? अब नेचुरली ये बड़ा एक मौलिक प्रश्न है कि अब यहाँ पर उपनिषद में तो हम ठीक है, वी कैन गो फ्रॉम अथॉरिटीज का लेवल जो है नोन स्क्रिप्चर्स नोन के लेवल पर, माइंड के लेवल पर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकते हैं, लेकिन इफ वी गो बियॉन्ड द अथॉरिटी, स्क्रिप्चर इज ऑल्सो लिमिटिंग आवर नॉलेज. स्क्रिप्चर इज एन अथॉरिटी, लेकिन वी हैव टू गो बियॉन्ड दैट ऑल्सो, क्योंकि सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन और ये आत्मज्ञान तो अथॉरिटी से ऊपर चला जाता है. स्क्रिप्चर्स और अथॉरिटी दे पेव द वे फॉर ग्रेटर रियलाइजेशन. इस पर थोड़ा सोचना है, हमें भी सोचना है. और हाउ कैन बी naturally man is never perfect. Even the authority is also conflicting. तो ये एक अलग से एक फिलोसॉफिकल क्वेश्चन उठता है. तो खैर इस पर अभी तो बहुत सारे और जो दूसरे प्रश्न आए हैं वो एक डेकार्ट का भी उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया कि आई कॉजिटो अर्गो सम, आई थिंक देयरफॉर आई एग्जिस्ट. निश्चित ही थिंकिंग माइंड, आई थिंक देयरफॉर आई एग्जिस्ट. अब ये कॉन्शसनेस के फ्रेमवर्क में दास साहब, प्रोफेसर दास हैज गॉट अ सटल माइंड and subtle interpretations. तो उन्होंने फिलॉसफी ऑफ कॉन्शसनेस को केन उपनिषद के बैकग्राउंड में, he wanted to explain the concept of consciousness, what I understood, because I was very particular to listen. So philosophy of consciousness in the background of Kena Upanishad. So naturally the main theme is that we have to go above known and unknown. We have to go beyond known and I think unknown, because we have to go beyond the subject of the object, I can say. So if we land into the duality of the subject and object, if we land in duality of mind and matter, then we are under bondage. And he has also defined salvation in his own way. और लगता है कि शंकराचार्य का जीवन मुक्त दास साहब को ज़्यादा पसंद है, हमको भी. I do not know about the ultimate salvation. If man is lost, mind is lost, and if there is, so very few person can attain that ultimate stage, but the person can attain the Jivan Mukti. And most of the persons who are serving the humanity, they are Jivan Mukta. And in Ramakrishna ashram, I think, I may be, that very many, there may be ladders, there may be gradations, that very many saints are Jivan Mukta, free from all bondage of worldly life, and they are serving the humanity. So they are bound with the service, Serving to humanity is itself a great task. Serving to humanity, Vivekananda says, if you want to serve God, you serve the humanity. And naturally, when you serve the humanity, your personality is extended. And that is also a kind of salvation. आप अपने तहत अपने परिवार के अंदर आप बंधे रहें, उससे जब आप मुक्त होते हैं, समाज की सेवा करते हैं, लोगों की सेवा करते हैं, तो आप मुक्ति का एहसास करते हैं। ये विवेकानंद का कॉन्सेप्ट है। अब स्वामी जी हैं, लेकिन जो हमारी छोटी बुद्धि है और छोटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग बनता है कि सर्विस टू मैन इज सर्विस टू गॉड, मीन्स व्हेन यू सर्व द ह्यूमैनिटी यू गेट लिबरेशन। तो मुक्ति की बात आई है। और अब यहाँ एक सवाल स्वामी जी ने बहुत डिफिकल्ट कि ये ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन का जो संसार के पार जाना तो बहुत मुश्किल है। स्वामी जी का ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ माइंड, और अब ऐसा कुछ आपका प्रश्न?
हाँ सर मैंने ये कहना चाहा कि सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्शन तो हम लोग करते हैं, तो वो तो ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ माइंड ही है। यदि if there is self introspection, we cannot deny that I have objectified my own mind.
हाँ, थोड़ा सा हम इस पर अपने ढंग से बोलना, दो चार लाइन में। एक्चुअली सब्जेक्ट एंड ऑब्जेक्ट का रिलेशनशिप ये नॉलेज है। प्रमाण मीमांसा की बात, एपिस्टेमोलॉजी की बात करते हैं। द आई नो द टेबल, सो नो, तो नेचुरली, सो देर आर ग्रेड्स। कैसे ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन से हम सब्जेक्टिफिकेशन की ओर आते हैं, ये भारतीय दर्शन की विशेषता है। सो वी फ्रॉम there are grades of objectification and there are grades of consciousness. केसी भट्टाचार्य को यहाँ मैं उद्धृत करना चाहूँगा। दास साहब ने भी माइंड, he has also streamlined the limitations of the mind. तो कैसे केसी भट्टाचार्य ने कॉन्शसनेस के ग्रेड्स को बतलाया। तो पहला तो है कि ऑब्जेक्टिव कॉन्शसनेस, ए इज रिलेटेड टू बी। आई नो द टेबल, आई इज द ए, अ टेबल इज द बी, एंड देयर इज अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन ए एंड बी, दैट इज ए नॉलेज। मैं टेबल को जानता हूँ कि यह टेबल लाल है, तो ये एक स्टेज हुआ कॉन्शसनेस का। उसके बाद दूसरा स्टेज हुआ कि ऑब्जेक्ट इज मतलब हॉर्स एंड हॉर्सनेस। तो हॉर्सनेस इज ऑल्सो ए सॉर्ट ऑफ फैक्ट, इट इज नॉट एन ऑब्जेक्ट। हॉर्स इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट एंड हॉर्सनेस इज ए फैक्ट। तो एक चेतना का ये भी स्तर हुआ कि हम जानते हैं कि देयर इज ए हॉर्स। उसके बाद जो है सो जैसे जो वेदांतिक प्रेम में हम बात करते हैं, तो आई एम ब्रह्म, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि। ये भी अहम ब्रह्मास्मि में भी देयर इज ए ट्रेस ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन, देयर इज ए ट्रेस ऑफ ब्रह्म। आई एम, तो आई द सब्जेक्ट, एम ब्रह्म, मैं अहम ब्रह्मास्मि। अहम सब्जेक्ट हो गया तो ब्रह्मास्मि। तो थोड़ा सा हम लोग तो कहते हैं कि ब्रह्मविद ब्रह्मेव भवति, लेकिन वो एक एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कॉन्सेप्ट है कि अपना अपना ब्रह्म विद ब्रह्मेव भवति, ये दोनों स्टेटमेंट थोड़ा एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है। लेकिन अहम ब्रह्मास्मि जो थर्ड स्टेज है ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन, माने यहाँ शंकराचार्य तो नहीं कहते हैं कि ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन है, वो तो कहते हैं कि ब्रह्म को जानने से पूर्ण चेतना हो गई। लेकिन केशव भट्टाचार्य ने शंकराचार्य से थोड़ा भिन्न मत प्रस्तुत किया और उन्होंने कहा कि यहाँ भी ऑब्जेक्टिफिकेशन है और हमको जाना है प्योर कॉन्शसनेस, शुद्ध चेतना, जो प्योर सब्जेक्टिविटी। सो वी हैव टू ट्रांसेंड दिस स्टेज ऑल्सो, कि आई एम ब्रह्म, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि से ऊपर जाना है। और वो कॉन्शसनेस सब्जेक्ट और ऑब्जेक्ट, सब्जेक्टिविटी और ऑब्जेक्टिविटी दोनों से ऊपर का स्टेज होगा और दैट स्टेज विल बी ऑफ प्योर कॉन्शसनेस। वो एक भारतीय दर्शन का एक मूल चेतना, सब्जेक्ट एज फ्रीडम, एक उनकी किताब है केशव भट्टाचार्य का, कि सब्जेक्ट हैज बिकम कंप्लीटली फ्री एंड देयर इज ए प्योर कॉन्शस। खैर दास साहब ने जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट लिया था उससे थोड़ा कॉन्टेक्स्ट भिन्न हो गया, लेकिन द बैकग्राउंड इज ए केनोपनिषद। केनोपनिषद जो उनका बैकग्राउंड है उसी में चूंकि क्वेश्चंस आए और जो हमको समझ में आती है बात, तो हम तो हमेशा स्वामी जी की कृपा ये रही है कि इस स्टडी सर्किल को उन्होंने इतना जीवंत बना दिया कि प्रोफेसर रत्नम जैसे बिजी आदमी, इज़ ए वेरी बिजी, आई नो, वो इतिहास काउंसिल, इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल रिसर्च के भी मेंबर सेक्रेटरी थे, फिलॉसफी के भी मेंबर सेक्रेटरी, अभी मध्य प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट में जो एजुकेशनल एडवाइजर हैं, बट ही हैज स्पेयर्ड हिज टाइम, so we are obliged rather, and we invite that he should come again and again to enhance the grace of the study circle। और इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा जीपी दास साहब को और स्वामी जी को बहुत प्रणाम कि मुझे इस ठंडक में भी आपकी अभी प्रेरणा है कि पूरा वातावरण ठंडक का है। अब मैं भी जैकेट वैकेट पहन के, एंड आई एम विथ यू, सो इन स्पाइट ऑफ द डिस्टेंस आई एम ऑलवेज विथ यू। तो मेरा प्रणाम स्वीकार करें। श्री नारायण जी को बहुत बहुत प्रणाम। जो लोग हैं स्क्रीन पर उनको प्रणाम, और जो नहीं है उनको विशेष प्रणाम, क्योंकि हमारे नहीं रहने वाले बहुत अजीज मित्र हैं, उमेश जी हो गए, राजेश जी हो गए। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम दे रहा हूँ।
धन्यवाद सर। रमेश बाबू के आने से अमेरिका की शीतलता भारत की गर्मी पर भारी पड़ रहा है।
नहीं, मैं तो आपके गर्मी सर्दी सभी में आपके साथ।
ठंडक की मीठी बयार हम सबों के मन को स्पंदित करते हुए आदरणीय रमेश बाबू को भी हम गर्माहट के साथ याद कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, नहीं, आपने याद किया और हम आपके साथ हैं। अब सुबह सुबह उठ के 2 घंटा आपके साथ रहते हैं।
जी जी, और आप
आगे भी रहेंगे, आगे भी रहेंगे।
हम आपके आ जाने से हमारे कार्यक्रम की व्यापकता असीम हो जाती है। हम देश से विदेश में चले,
इंटरनेशनल तो आप कह सकते हैं।
जी, इंटरनेशनल हो जाता है। और इस कार्यक्रम में आप सबों का स्वागत है। अब मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापन के लिए श्री नवीन कुमार झा, डॉक्टर नवीन कुमार झा हमारे स्टडी सर्किल के वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं, उनसे निवेदन करता हूं कि प्रस्तुति शुरू करें।
Good evening to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's webinar a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank India's renowned philosopher guide Professor G.P. Das Sahab, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion. Your thoughts have come truly inspired us, sir. Really, you have lighted the flame within us. It was really a great time with you. Your brilliant ideas and elegance of explanation of everything, I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation. Explanation of consciousness remain peerless. Really, you are great, sir, and also proved it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
वेबिनार के सभाध्यक्ष और आईसीपीआर के पूर्व चेयरमैन एवं भारत के नामचीन चिंतक प्रोफेसर आरसी सिन्हा साहब के आशीर्वचन हमेशा की तरह इस बार भी हमें आलोकित कर गया। आपके श्री मुख से निश्चित एक एक शब्द के विशेष मायने होते हैं सर। वेबिनार से जुड़े सारे सुधीजन निश्चय ही भाग्यवान हैं जिनको आपका दिग्दर्शन प्राप्त होता है। आपकी महती कृपा हमेशा बनी रहे, परम पिता से यही कामना है। वेबिनार के कर्ता धर्ता एवं आश्रम के परम पूज्य संत सचिव स्वामी भवात्मानंद जी महाराज के प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त कर हम भाव विभोर हो जाते हैं। आपके सानिध्य में विवेकानंद स्टडी सर्किल के सारे सदस्य ज्ञान, विज्ञान और आध्यात्मिकता के क्षेत्र में एक लंबी छलांग लगा चुके हैं, यह सर्वविदित है। आपकी कृपा दृष्टि इसी तरह बनी रहे तो निश्चय ही एक दिन हम होंगे कामयाब। वेबिनार के प्रति समर्पित और हमेशा उत्साहवर्धन करने वाले हर दिल अजीज एवं बिहार विश्वविद्यालय के जंतु विभाग के पूर्व विभागाध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर SNP सिन्हा साहब के प्रति हार्दिक कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं। आपकी निष्ठा, कर्मठता और इंटेलिजेंस वेबिनार को एक अपनी ऊंचाई पर पहुंचाने में महती भूमिका निभाते आ रहा है। प्रतिभाशाली युवा IITian और श्री अरुणेंद्र राय, डॉक्टर नूतन कुमारी, प्रोफेसर कुमार रत्नम, प्रज्ञा दास कानूनगो जी का प्रश्न बड़ा सारगर्भित रहा और वेबिनार को गति को बनाए रखा। आपको विशेष धन्यवाद। इसके अलावा वेबिनार से जुड़े महानुभाव सर्वश्री हजारी प्रसाद सिंह, जनक बाबू, जानकी नंदन शर्मा जी, केशव कुमार जी, कुमारी क्रांति, लक्ष्मण पात्रा जी, प्रोफेसर पटना विश्वविद्यालय फिलोसफी के हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट प्रोफेसर राजेश कुमार सिंह जी, रामनाथ गुप्ता जी, विजय कुमार प्रसाद जी, महाशंकर प्रसाद जी, राम मोहन जी, सीमा सरकार, अयन सरकार, नीरज कुमार को बहुत बहुत बधाई। बेहतर तकनीकी सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए आश्रम के विशेषज्ञ सत्यम जी को विशेष धन्यवाद। प्रणाम।
प्रणाम, सबको प्रणाम।
अब आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय की अनुमति से हम अपने कार्यक्रम को संपन्न घोषित करने की अनुशंसा चाहते हैं। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय की अगर सहमति हो तो हम इसे संपन्न घोषित करें।
जी
हम संपन्न घोषित करते हैं। आप सबों को धन्यवाद। और स्वामी भावात्मानंद महाराज से निवेदन है कि अगले कार्यक्रम में कोई सूचना हो